Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and a new Call of Duty mobile video. And in this video, top 5 BR loadouts. So it's been almost 3 months since I made a top 5 BR loadout list, and I think now might be the best time for it. So we obviously had the new season 1 come in Call of Duty mobile, quite a few new weapons added in the game as well. So I think now might be the best time to discuss about the top 5 best loadouts that you could have when you play BR. So before we begin, I must admit that we right now have one of the most balanced metas in Battle Royale, to a point that we actually don't need custom loadouts in majority of the cases. And the fact that the 5 weapons that I'll mention in the top 5 BR loadouts, I think 4 of them are already available in the default ground loot that you get in Battle Royale right now. And in fact, if you just consider a few of the top 10 guns in Battle Royale, all those top 10 guns according to me are already there in the BR ground loot at this point. It's not compulsory that if you get a loadout only then you can go for a win. I think you could win a BR match even without having any of your custom loadouts. But having said that, having a custom drop with the attachments of your choice just would be a cherry on the top. So with that out of the way, let's get started with the video. So in this list, I'll be giving you 2 SMG options, 2 AR options and 1 shotgun. I hope you won't be disappointed, but there won't be any sniper options, and I'll explain why. So before we begin with the top 5, let's talk about the sniper situation in the Battle Royale right now. So right now in the ground loot, you get ample of snipers to choose from, and I think all the snipers that we currently have in the ground loot are sufficient for you and it would get the job done. So you don't need a custom sniper drop at this point. I would say when you go towards a drop and it's a intense situation and you have one choice to make, I don't think picking up snipers would be the best choice at this point. So right now I think the default snipers that you get are the DLQ, SVD, Rytec, SKS, and obviously we get the Arctic 50 thermal one. And to be honest, the best sniper according to me at this point is the Arctic 50 mythic one, which basically has the thermal scope. So getting that is obviously tough, but again, that's what we call the high risk high reward in the game. And all the snipers that we have right now, at a certain distance, if you have the right attachments to it, if you land a headshot, in majority of the cases you would get a 1 shot 1 kill. At least you would knock down your opposition, but beyond the range it's just impossible even with your custom loadout. And hitting a moving target is way more tough in Call of Duty mobile BR, because obviously the bullet speed is very slow compared to the other games. So having a sniper choice right now might not be the best choice. Okay, so that would be all about the snipers. And one last thing before we go into the top 5 is that a few weapons that are definitely worth a try, but just not the best when it comes to top 5. So I think these weapons can be a good choice when you're not trying to try hard in the game, and it's definitely worth a try. So the first weapon in the list is the Kilo 141. I literally waited for this gun to come out for a long time. I was really hoping that it would make it into the meta, but trust me guys, it's just not the best weapon right now in Battle Royale. If at any point Kilo 141 makes it into the meta, I'll definitely put up a video on my channel for this. But right now in the top 5, I obviously have 2 assault rifles, and both the assault rifles are a better competitor to Kilo 141. I did try the Kilo 141. It feels solid, but just not the best gun in the game. So this is what the loadout for the Kilo 141 looks like. I would go with the red dot, but if you have the mythic version which has sort of a pay to win inside, you can obviously choose that one. So the first weapon which was definitely worth a try was the Kilo. The next one is the Razorback. I love this SMG. It's really good. It does not have a faster fire rate like the other SMGs, but it has a very high damage compared to any other SMG, and it's literally my go-to choice when I'm not trying to try hard in the game. So you should definitely try this out. And the last one is the shotgun, which is the Echo. This is really one of the most cheap guns in the game, but there can be situations when you just land into a map and it's literally the first gun that you get. It has a very less skill needed to actually operate it, but it has a very high reward when you are in a close range encounter, and having a custom loadout for it can be just great. So I think that would be all for the 3 weapons that are definitely worth a try. And with that done, let's move to the top 5 best loadouts in the game. So coming in at number 5, we have the AK-47. So the first thing that I did when the Kilo 141 came out was I checked how well it performs in Battle Royale versus AK-47, and I must confess Kilo 141 can be a much solid choice close range in comparison to AK-47, but when you use an assault rifle, you're obviously targeting medium to long range fights, and when it comes to medium to long range fights, the stability of the AK-47 and also the damage multiplier of AK-47 is much higher than Kilo, which makes sense because Kilo has a faster fire rate, but again nothing matches AK-47 when it comes to medium to long range, and the recoil of the Kilo is very tough to read, whereas the AK-47 is very stable. AK-47 from the default ground loot is really bad because the recoil really shoots up at the start. Other assault rifle that I will be giving in the list later on would be a much better choice for an assault rifle for a close range encounter, so which is why I just discarded Kilo from the top 5 BR loadouts and mentioned the AK-47 because it's really the best AR. It's been the best since day one and it still continues being on top. Okay, so with that done, let's move to the number 4, and number 4 would be the HS04 shotgun. I think it's literally the best shotgun in the game. You won't get it in the ground loot, so you have to get a custom loadout for it, but if you do, it's literally one of the most lethal shotguns in the game. And the thing about HS04 is it's literally one of the few guns that could actually one-shot someone with maximum HP. So what comes with HS04 is the fact that you really need to be very agile in the game, and you need very good mobility, and also you need to have a luck on your side, because if you end up missing your shots, it can be really punishing for you. I tried out HS04 recently and I just felt so good using that shotgun, and I think everyone should definitely give this a try. Next up at number 3 we have the Fennec, the fastest fire rate SMG in the game, and Fennec has been one of the best SMGs in the game since MX9 got the damage nerf. And we obviously get the Fennec in the ground loot as well, which is also very much effective if you have the right attachments to it. The only problem is the hack size and also the lower damage rate. So usually if you're really accurate with your shots, you could get only 1% knockdown in one spray, or even in many of the situations one spray won't be enough for you to kill your opposition. So that's when the custom drop comes into play, and Fennec might be one of the best SMG choices if you're going for a custom loadout for it. And obviously Fennec has one of the highest mobility among any other SMGs in the game, so it really makes Fennec very lethal at very close range in the game. And Fennec can be one of the best competitors if you're facing an opposition who's using an HS04, because shotguns sometimes get very irritating in the game, and a gun like Fennec with such a high DTK, I think that might be your best choice to defend yourself versus shotguns. Next up at number 2 we have M13. M13 I think was probably the first assault rifle which challenged AK-47 when it comes to its overall versatile nature, and I think since M13 has replaced AK-47 as the go-to AR choice of any player in BR. Also the default ground loot M13 is also really good. It has a very insane hip fire as well, so it can be your go-to choice even for close range encounters. Might not be the best if you are versing a very good player using an SMG, but still it's very lethal at extreme close range as well, and very much usable at medium range as well. So at number 2 we had the M13. And finally let's move to number 1, and it is the newly added, I mean it was added in the last season, but now it has definitely made it into my best go-to choices right now, and it is the CBR. So I love the fact that when SMGs are really good at close range but also semi-viable when it comes to medium range, I think the last SMG which felt this way was the Razorback, and now I think P90 is also really good. Recently it got a buff, which is the reason why it is so high in the rank according to me. When it comes to choosing among CBR and Fennec, I would slightly edge towards CBR just because it is more versatile than Fennec, has a higher damage multiplier than Fennec, so it can be really tough when a CBR is versing a Fennec. But in many of the situations I faced opposition using Fennec and I was able to get them down with the CBR. Even the ground loot version of the CBR is really good, and if you get a custom loadout for it, I think it would just make the default CBR even better. So that's it guys, the top 5 weapons in the list, I just mentioned those for you. Give these weapons a try. If there's a weapon that I missed out and you think should have made it to the list, please mention them in the comment section. I'll give that weapon a fair try and try and come up with the best build possible for it. And subscribe to this channel for more such content in the future, and drop a like below if you appreciate the efforts that I put in making the video. And that would be all guys. Thank you so much for watching the video, and see you in the next one.